also the soundtrack is like.
Yeah, well, I really like it. I really like I never know.
About a minute and a half, so try to be in your seat. Make sure you have your materials out in front of you. If someone next to you is talking, give them a death stare. Last time, guys. Hope y'all are excited. All right. I called this meeting order at 5:05. President-elect Hopewood, can you please lead us in the fight song?
1, 2, you know what to do.
To the Charleston Tiger. Fight now and forever, victory is ours. Fight, 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 hail to the Charleston Tiger. Fight, fight, Tigers fight, lead us to victory. See you. All right, thank you so much. We will be taking attendance throughout communications. We will now move into approval of the minutes. Are there any amendments to last week's minutes? Hearing none, we'll consider them approved. Are there any amendments to the agenda? Hearing no amendments, we will follow the agenda as written. Does anyone need the agenda? We will pass them out during communication. There are no guest speakers today. Is there any public participation of state concerns? Hearing none, we will move into communication. Appropriations Committee submitted their financial policy, which is what we will be reviewing today. Rules Committee.
Hi, everybody. Happy Tiger Tuesday. I don't really have a report for you all today. I just want to say thank you to everybody for this lovely year. Thank you to my lovely senators for passing our documents. And it was a pleasure working with every single one of y'all.
Hello. Happy Taco Tuesday, everyone. I'm so sorry, y'all. Some of you might have heard some of this at the Student Affairs Leadership Awards, but I thought it would be relevant for my last report ever. So please just humor me, and then I'll, have some reflections for you all at banquet. So, sorry, guys. Okay, all right. You don't have time for this. Okay, sorry. I don't believe that coincidences exist. As the president of the Student Government Association at Towson University and the 101st year of our existence as an organization, I would be remiss if I did not take the time to recognize the spirit of this moment. In the first year, the SGA has served the TU community in our second century of advocacy. I want to applaud all of you, the student leaders of Towson, SGA members, advisors, and engaged constituents for setting the tone. You heard the call and you answered, and our community is forever grateful to each of you for that. As I reflect on what it means to be a student leader, I can't help but think about the words that make up a title like that. At first glance, you might consider those words an oxymoron. How might someone dare to lead as they themselves are still learning? During this academic year, I must say I found my answer. Rather than calling it an oxymoron, I would call it a paradox. Something that's made up of two arguably conflicting ideas that are dependent on each other to be true. For example, the only constant is change. Investing money is necessary to acquiring money. The more we live, the more we die. It was not until I failed in public in front of you guys or misspoke on an issue did I learn the importance of a sincere apology and public reconciliation. It was not until I stared the pain of grief in the eyes myself that I recognized the significance of fair mental health infrastructure and bereavement procedures for students. It was not until I learned my time at Towson University was coming to an end in just a few weeks that I recognized that leadership with no plan of succession is too self-serving to be called leadership at all. Being a student and being a leader is far from contradictory. It is necessary. It is imperative for a leader to maintain a posture of a student, learning not simply by osmosis, but by actively pursuing the expansion of the mind. Not for personal gain, but for collective uplift. Not until we embrace learning as a regular practice of leadership will we truly be able to meet the needs of those we serve. While many of us, including myself, may be graduating soon or going on to other things, please remember that far beyond your undergraduate experience, commitment to lifelong learning is the only path to true leadership. And we should aspire to be student leaders in all we do, for as long as we do it. To my executive board, each member of my cabinet, the student senate, and judicial board, thank you for learning on your feet and teaching us all what it means to lead while you learn. With that, I yield. Director Colvin.
Happy Tiger Tuesday, everyone. Thank you, President DeVoe. It's pretty hard to go after that. Really moving statement, but yeah, happy Tiger Tuesday. No report for me today. Got idea.
Thank you, Department of Academic Affairs.
Okay, there we go. Hello, everyone. Happy Tiger Tuesday. Goat Yoga is this week. I'm so excited. I'm sure you've seen the posters everywhere. I walked around campus. It was very tiring, but I enjoyed it. So they're everywhere. A lot of people have signed up, and I'm really excited for my first event. And with that, I yield.
Thank you so much, Department of Civic Engagement.
Tiger Tuesday. I just want to say thank you to everyone who came out to the voting event that we had on Monday. It went successfully. We got a lot of people registered to vote. I also want to say thank you to everyone who helped me out with the events, whether it be acting during to Knows the First, which me and President DeVoe had, or whether just it's been amazing. And I look forward to working with you guys in the future, whether it be an SGA or otherwise. Thank you.
Thank you, Attorney General Kapoor.
Tiger Tuesday again. I'll be reading Attorney General Kapoor and Chief of Staff Moody's reports today. Attorney General Kapoor says, "Hey y'all, sorry I can't be there today. Sadly, I had a family emergency, but I will be in the office this week and at midnight brunch, so I'm excited to see you all. Happy last GA and last week of weekly reports. Weekly reports are only mandatory next week if you are a compensated member and have work to do. If you choose to do so, please talk to your liaison and get approval. See you all at banquet this week, and last reminder to send me photos for the recap." Chief of Staff Moody says, "Hey."
Chief of Staff Moody.
Hi everyone, again, I'll be doing Chief of Staff Moody's communications. Hey everyone, sorry I'm running a tad late due to academics. We have a few events left in the semester. Please continue to share them on your socials. Remember that banquet starts at 7 p.m. and if you have any questions, please let me know. See you tomorrow at midnight brunch. With that, I yield.
Department of Community Outreach.
Hello, everyone. Happy last Tiger Tuesday of the year for us. So it has been an honor to serve with you guys. I should start with that. You all have been amazing. Being part of the 101st has been truly an experience, that I will say, in my role. I'm thankful that I had the opportunity to bring back one of SJ's pillars, service. I know it's something that we lacked, and I'm glad to bring it back, and hopefully in the next years it gets even better. With that service, I am proud to announce that everyone has completed their service requirement. So everyone is eligible to go to banquet and return to SGA next year if you wish. So yeah, and with that, I yield.
Department of Diversity and Inclusion.
Hello, everyone. So I hope everyone's having a good Tuesday. So I do have a quick announcement. So this Thursday is going to be at the Sga Yard Sale. That'll be happening from 2 to 3 in Tiger Plaza. So that's a great way to be able to get office hours if y'all need it for the last week. So definitely pop out then. All the proceeds will be going to Women's in Baltimore, and then half it will be going to Students Helping Honduras, since they're also going to be helping us up with the event. So that's all the announcements that I wanted to say. I also wanted to tell everyone that thank you so much for being here and being a part of SGA. I highly enjoyed being here. It's definitely been keeping me alive, being back in person. And also shout out to my assistant director, Shona. You've been a great assistant director, and I couldn't ask for anyone else to be that. And yeah, so hope you all had a good year at SGA, and I hope to see you all in the upcoming future. And with that, I yield.
Department of Health and Wellness.
Happy Tiger Tuesday, everyone. I wanted to thank everyone that donated to the GVMC donation drive. It went really well, and for last minute donations, if you have any, I'm gonna make a quick stop to the health center later on in the week. So if you have anything, you can just bring it to me or leave it in the box that's in the SGA office, and then I can just send that over. But thank you everyone for an amazing year. It was definitely interesting after being online for the whole year, and y'all definitely made my last year in SGA very thrilling. But yeah, that is it.
Department of Higher Education.
Hi everyone, no report, but I do want to echo what everyone has said so far. Thank you for an amazing year. And even though I'm graduating, this is not goodbye. I would love to stay in contact with all of you all. And with that, I yield.
Department of Special Projects.
Happy Tiger Tuesday, everyone. Just a few announcements. Please make sure, if you can, come out to midnight brunch tomorrow at 10 p.m. Also, as mentioned, the thrift shop is Thursday from 12 to 3. If you can, sign up. Goat Yoga is also on Friday, so there's 2 slots for that, 12 to 1 and then 1:30 to 2:30. And then don't forget that banquet is Friday from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. And then next week, we still do have a couple events. We have the Stress Bubbles from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. and then inauguration from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. And with that, I yield.
Thank you so much. Department of Marketing.
Hi, y'all. Happy Tiger Tuesday. My whole report was the events, so thank you for that. But thank you guys for a great year. It was a pleasure serving as your director of marketing. I just want to thank everybody who is a part of this 101st administration. It was a great time. With that, I yield.
Department of Student Organizations.
Hello, happy Tiger Tuesday, everyone. Just a quick deadline. May 17th is the last day to submit all the Tiger Stripes forms. And it's been great working with you all this semester and last semester also. And thank you for helping me out with being a director position. And it's just been great, and I hope to work with you all next semester as well. Thank you.
Department of New Student Development.
Hey guys, Transfer Council had their first event yesterday. It was a success. We had a couple people come, hopefully next semester, whoever steps into the role will continue to, foster it, build that up for next year. But, thank you guys for the worst semester ever. I'm just joking. But I do appreciate you guys, for everything that y'all like helped me do, with SGA, the experiences built, coming, as I'm a sophomore, so, last semester's freshman year, I didn't really know anybody besides freshman council. So coming to see like what the bigger SGA is really about, allows me to be better. We'll be better next year too. So I really appreciate y'all. Thank you. Then I yield.
Greek Life Representative.
Hello. Okay, hello. So the IFC is going to be partnering with Campus Rec for Welcome to TU in the fall. We're going to be helping them encourage more participation in intramurals and having games going on in the evening for the freshmen. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Alpha Phi Alpha is having their stroll like an alpha competition. It's going to be happening in Freedom Square this Friday at 5 p.m. D5 is having the Great Strides Walk in the Tiger Plaza at 9 a.m. on Saturday for the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation. We have CAP presentation coming up on May 18th and looking forward to another great semester. And I just want to say, I came into this role a little bit late, but I like to thank so much to the executive board of the SGA and really everyone here. You guys have been so supportive, and I look forward to being your SGA Greek Life for next year.
Transfer Student Representative. Freshman Council Representative.
Hi, my name is Derek. I'm representing the Freshman Council. Happy Tiger Tuesday. Only report we have is that next week, Monday, Freshman Council is collabing with Brotherhood for a pool party. So y'all know it's hot out there. Now you're excited to get your swimsuits on. So come out, get some water in your system. And yeah, be there. It's gonna be fun. With that.
Disability Representative.
Hey, also just first, thank you for everyone who came to my event last Wednesday. And that's really it. And just echoing what everyone else has been saying. Thank you so much for, I joined kind of late, great at the beginning of the semester. So thanks you all so much for a great semester and for also creating the role for disabled students to be able to have a voice and be accepted on campus. So with that, I yield.
Happy Tiger Tuesday, everyone. Before I start my report, I just want to shout out all the seniors that will be graduating this semester and next semester. Jordan DeVoe. Britannia Kemp. Hannah Demick. Libby Eaglin. Jonathan Reed. Aziz Furtado Olsen. Paul will be Jessica Kapoor. Lizzie Rain. I just want to say, thank you all so much for a really, really great year. I think that, okay. I think that, kind of when I was here in this multipurpose room in the old union, being confirmed as the assistant director of civic engagement in 2018, which was a very long time ago, considering we're in 2020 now. I don't have a formal speech. 2022. My formal speech will be Safer Banquet, but again, I really want to say thank you all for being amazing people and really letting me be surrounded by people that I see as change makers and people that I see will go out in the future. I really want to say, please don't be a stranger, right? I will see you all again. That's what I always say in my heart, because we're all going to do great things. And we're going to have an awesome GA. And as y'all know, I cleared out my desk yesterday. So if you need me in the office, it will be at will. So if you need me, just text me and I'll let you know my availability. Right now, I'm kind of swamped with essays as I try to get enough credits to walk. So I just want to say thank you all again. I'm not going to cry. I'm going to save that for banquet. But for the last time ever, with that, I yield. Any opinions of the court?
Hello, everyone. Hi. There are no opinions of the court. I'm sure that comes as a surprise to everyone, but I wanted to thank every one of my justices here for supporting me this semester. I want to thank all of you for allowing some J-board in your life. So with that, I guess, final yield. Yeah.
And now we switch. Wait, do you have a question? Senator Omasore? Okay.
Hold on. Hey, Chris, you can wait for announcements. Yeah.
Let's get these bills.
Yeah, thank you.
Let's get the bill.
Okay. I literally felt it. I was what order? Against myself. I'm not gonna cry.
Okay, there's no unfinished business for today. We'll move into new, I believe. Yeah, so we'll move into new business. Are there any motions on the floor? Senator Maddox,
Move that we intervene resolution 42.
is there a second? Senator Washington Mayor,
A second.
is there any discussion? Okay, if not, we can move into a vote to review resolution number 42. All those in favor? Opposed? Are abstaining? Great, that the motion passes. We're now reviewing resolution number 42 concerning the discontinuation of required appointments for emergency contraceptives and providing emergency contraceptives at a discounted price for students. Vice President Ambush.
Point of personal privilege.
Granted. Okay. Yeah, I was like, I was gonna say. Okay, so this was written by Senator Hayes and Senator Eaglin on behalf of Director Edwards. I believe is there a presentation for us today? Okay, so we will pull that up and take it away.
To the right.
Yeah. What's the dream team, Director Edwards?
Great question. So the dream team is Senator Eaglin and Senator Hayes and myself. So yeah, that's the dream team. As you notice, we're matching, you know, they have their black and we're black. So dream team. They have their black, they're black. I have some black hints. Oh, no. Okay, so Plan B contraceptives by, you know, dream team. Next. Okay, so a snapshot of the bill is that the current system that we have here at Towson is that there is a required appointment to obtain a Plan B contraceptive. For those who don't know, Plan B contraceptive is the emergency pill that you would take, you know, after, you know, slip up the night before. That's what it is. You know, I'm trying to, you know, that's what happens.
Please use your big word.
It's typically, okay, Plan B contraceptives are used after unprotected sex the night before. That's what it's supposed to be used for. All right, so in order to obtain one of those, you have to go to a required appointment at the health center. So if you wanted to get a Plan B at our health center, you have to schedule an appointment with a healthcare representative in the health center, and that appointment is $35. Neighboring schools around like UMD, UMBC, $15 are the Plan Bs at Maryland, and $10 are the Plan Bs at UMBC, and they do not have a required appointment. That's schools. Okay, so after speaking with Melissa Wengler and Carly DeGraw. They were the two representatives of the health center that helped us get all of this information. So they acknowledge that there's inconsistencies on Towson's website according to the health center policies. So if you were to look on the health center, the terms of like in terms of how to obtain a Plan B on the website is inconsistent with reality. So like trying to actually obtain a Plan B, it doesn't mention anything about an appointment on the website, but going actually to try to obtain one, you have to get an appointment. And due to COVID, which we all know, the website hasn't been updated, which leads to more confusion amongst the population, which makes it harder for us to actually get it. So the solution that the dream team came up with is to discontinue required appointments and allow contraceptives to be bought at the discretion of students. So one thing about the appointments that I didn't mention here, but I'm going to mention now, is that Plan B, the pill is time sensitive. So you're supposed to take it, it's most effective within 72 hours, and there's more specific facts on the actual pill itself, but it's most effective within a specific amount of time. And trying to get this appointment that are no longer same day forces you to wait to actually obtain the Plan B, if that makes sense. So right now, they don't offer any same day appointments, and according to the representatives, it's because of COVID. So you're not allowed to just walk in and set an appointment and do that. Same day appointments are not readily available because a lot of students want to, be in the health center for various different reasons. So if you wanted to obtain a Plan B, you have to go on the health center website and plan out a time where you could get one. And sometimes it may be outside of that 72-hour window, which means that, you're out of luck. And then, like what's going on in the world right now, possibly Roe v. Wade, maybe getting overturned and stuff like that. So this is a hard time for legislation like this to come down. That pretty much concludes the presentation. Do you guys have any questions?
Thank you for your presentation. I'm gonna ask Senator Hayes or Elin if you guys have anything to add before we get into questions. Are we okay? Yeah, okay. Do you guys have anything else to add? Open the floor to questions? No? Okay, cool. So we'll now open the floor to questions, comments, concerns on the resolution. Do we have any questions, comments, concerns on resolution number 42? Yes, Director DMA.
I guess this was a comment and a question. I saw that it said $15 for, it's like, it's not there, but $15 for one of the other schools for like Plan B. That's how much it costs for the other schools. UMD, that's how much it costs, but it doesn't say anything about how much it costs at our school for Plan B, because there's different types of Plan B. That's for the appointment. Yeah.
So at our school, I believe the price is $11. I mentioned the prices at neighboring institutions just to give you all more background as to how other schools do it. So even with our Plan B being cheaper, so ours is $11, I believe. So UMD, ours is cheaper than UMD and $1 more expensive than UMBC. But with that required appointment, it still makes it substantially higher in terms of pricing.
Does that answer your question, Dr. Neiman? Yeah, and I also had a comment. Go ahead. Okay. So like this bill proposes to like get rid of the required appointments from like the health center when it comes to specifically emergency contraceptives. And from what I know, being in the committee that put these stipulations in place, that won't be like allowed until everything in the health center is like lifted, especially since you've seen like the health center and also other specific parts of the university already still have the rules about having masks on when you come to the health center, or with the appointments, they still have those rules that have been removed in most parts of campus. So like from what I know, this wouldn't be possible unless like all appointments have been lifted. I mean, with like all the stipulations that are put in place, until all of it is lifted, then like this isn't possible. And I also know that the reason why there's appointments is because there are different types of Plan Bs, and as a healthcare provider, you're kind of, not forced, what's the word? You're kind of, you know, you have like, you have like a requirement to make sure that the patients know like the information about it, because obviously there's like Plan B and then there's Ella, where Plan B is like readily more accessible, while Ella, if you have certain things, like you can take Ella, but that's a prescription. But like those are two different emergency contraceptives, because I see like emergency contraceptives and Plan B kind of used like interchangeably. But there's like different rules that are kind of out of Towson's hands for that. So that's why like I want to know, because, yeah. Director.
So, just for a point of, I guess, so just to like be more clear, and then therefore be resolved, this is a recommendation, that Towson SGA is recommending that we discontinue the required appointments. And we specified that we were referring specifically to the Plan B emergency contraceptives in terms of discontinuing the, appointment. Like how you said, Ella, the doctor is required to, give you an appointment for that, because you can't just buy that over the counter. But as far as like Plan B, I believe there's like information that comes in the boxes, and like we're all adults, like in college. So I feel like we're all grown, like we know what like we're supposed to do, and the directions for use come within the box. And just like at neighboring schools, if they can have it for a cheaper price and allow their students to buy at the discretion, that I feel Towson can do the same thing. Also, at the bottom of the therefore be resolved, we specified that, in the first therefore be resolved, we specified that it can be in the health center or the union. So being that the union has required appointments, the health center has appointments for different various issues, how you were saying, if you place them in the union as well, that would allow students to more accessibility to buy it at their discretion. Does that make sense?
Director Deanna, do you have a follow-up? Okay, we can, one more, yeah, we'll keep going. Okay, so when y'all say union, what do you mean by like having it at the union? We have a mic, that was kind of hard to hear.
I believe we were referring to the news store.
Okay, thank you. And also to like be like more specific, like this is for all emergency contraceptives. There's like a requirement just because Ella is a prescription, that's more specific where you have to have a provider there to give it to you, since it's not over the counter. But Plan B, the reason why Towson has that in place is because it's an overall emergency contraceptives. So it has to do with all of them. That's the reason why those things are in place. But yeah. Thank you, President Lebeau.
I have a couple questions. Some of them could be directed at Director VMA or Director Edwards. A couple of things. One, when you say Plan B, because I know Plan B is like the brand name of the item. Are y'all saying specifically Plan B, the brand, or like is there a different name for it? Because I hear emergency contraceptive, Plan B, like they're not interchangeable. So what exactly are we asking for?
If you're asking specifically about what we're asking for, it's the Plan B is a type of emergency contraceptive. That's why we just wrote it like that. But we're referring to specifically the Plan B pill, like the one that you would take after.
Gotcha. Okay. I didn't know if there was a specific name for that, or if Plan B like was just the brand. Okay, cool. Hello. Okay. And then also, are there repercussions for taking Plan B on multiple occasions? And if so, I just want to ensure that like that's being communicated to students, because I think that's like a slippery slope. If there isn't, then that's fine. I just personally don't know.
Director Deanna, and I'll take it. Director Deanna, you can go. Yeah, there can be repercussions for taking Plan B multiple times. That's why like people have these appointments. It's not only a rule for the Towson Health Center, it's a rule for any place that's this like giving out prescriptions or giving out drugs or pharmaceuticals in general. one of those side effects could be like an impact on one's like reproductive health. Like when it comes to like having pregnancies in the future and stuff like that, it can like impact someone's like future like plans when it comes to like having kids and stuff. Fertility, thank you. And Justice, what's your name? Callow, okay, Justice Callow.
Okay, I was just gonna say, about the Plan B debate we were having like a couple conversations ago. I just wanted to clear up that Plan B is like the specific brand. That's kind of what you were saying, like the more generic term that you could use is morning after pill. That's like what the generic term is. If you didn't want to like, just in case we don't have that specific brand available, if you wanted to make it the more generic term, I would use morning after pill because that specifies the type of contraceptive without just using the general term of emergency contraceptive.
President, before you have follow-up questions.
I also wanted to ask, are morning after pills, in the surrounding area, like at a pharmacy or CVS, are those like inaccessible or expensive in comparison to getting it on campus?
Morning after pill and,
Director Edwards.
sorry, I apologize. Okay, yes, at a pharmacy, like if you were to go to the CVS on York Road, a morning after pill or Plan B brand, that would be about $50 plus tax, so it'll run you around maybe like $53.68, like $53.68 if we were to be exact. I'm just, for clarification purposes.
Do you have, want to order y'all, please? Okay, follow-up question again? Okay.
This is my last thing. I just wanted to like throw out there, I think a bill like this, if implemented, should be accompanied by like communications from both the health center and the SGA on campus in terms of like practicing safe sexual practices, and like not slipping into like just being reckless with one's sexual health. But I just wanted to throw that out there because I think both and situation and not just like a free for all. I mean, do what you gotta do, but I'm just saying like be safe about it.
Director Diama. This is my last thing, but like with what President DeVos said, this bill over here, this resolution 42, even though it has been, they've gotten like their information from the health center, a lot of representatives have come to me in the past few weeks wanting to like at least have like a say in this bill when it comes to like making sure that information is correct and making sure that both sides are understanding this bill correctly. But for right now, the health center does not support this bill because of the information contained in it. Director Edwards.
Part of the reason why, for those who don't know, this bill was supposed to be on the floor last week and was tabled to this week because we needed to speak with the health center to get more clarification as far as information on the bill, which we did, and we came back with this. For more clarification, we have the therefore be it further resolved that specifies that students can go get an appointment to get a Plan B, but they don't, like, it's not required. So if you felt like you were saying, President DeVos, like, you want to be educated as to the side effects that can happen from taking this pill multiple times, you can go get an appointment. That is up to your own personal prerogative as an adult to get an appointment with the health center. But the point of this bill is just to say you shouldn't be required to have an appointment in order to get it.
President DeVos.
Anyways, just really quickly, I just wanted to clarify. So was it always that you needed an appointment, or prior to COVID you didn't? Or have you always needed an appointment?
Director Diama, just making sure. So prior to COVID, you could have an appointment if you wanted to, so like if you wanted more information, but if you didn't want that information, because you as a patient have your right to like dismiss any information, you didn't have to. You could just like set it up to pick it up, and then that's it. Does that answer your question? Okay, from senators, do you guys have any comments, questions, concerns? Yes, Senator Blunt.
Well, okay, so if, if an appointment is pretty important for the sure thing, why does UMD and UMBC have it accessible? Well, why does UMBC have it accessible in vending machines? Like,
Is that a question?
yeah, that's just
or-
that's just a question. How come like they don't really see it as important? If I'm, like, nobody here is UMBC, but I don't know. I find it strange how like we care so much about it, but then other colleges don't seem to as much.
Do you have an answer to that? Okay. I can't speak for UMD, but UMBC specific vending machine is sponsored by the SGA, and it has to do with specifically Plan B, which is over the counter. So Plan B, which is, since it is over the counter, SGA can buy it in bulk or do whatever they want with it, but it's sponsored by the SGA, not by the health center. Thank you. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does.
Okay, Senator Maddox.
Hey guys, so this is just a hypothetical question. So I've had to deal with the health center and setting up appointments for injuries before, but like, what happens if there are no appointments available within 72 hours? You know, like I feel like that's kind of important. I wouldn't want to have to take myself to CVS and pay over $60 for something that ultimately I could get at the health center for 11 or maybe 30 if I have to get the appointment and all that jazz.
Was that a question, was that a question or just like speculative comment?
That was kind of a comment.
Okay, cool. Senator Hayes.
Okay, I guess my question is, if in the past, I know we did appointments because of COVID and everything. So say in the near future, the health center, kind of takes away the restrictions because of COVID, could then we go back to what you described in the past? You have the option, you can. So if we just added a line clarifying, or maybe one of the therefore, just kind of clarifying somewhere, saying that, because I feel like we're kind of a little confused in the end. Or we can even, I guess for me too, I guess because we're trying to give you contraceptive and rate contraception and Plan B, we can just somehow make it clear that we're only talking about Plan B, so it can be known that we're not talking about what you need a prescription for LO. We can just say specifically we're talking about Plan B, so where you can go pick it up once the restrictions are lifted or anything like that. Because we are kind of just talking about Plan B, which is all we already talked about, is accessible in the CVS without having to go to a doctor. And how Damon has mentioned multiple times, we kind of are adults, and I feel like a lot of people do their own research before they take a Plan B, before they do it anyways, whether they Google it or they have talked to the doctor previously. So I just kind of feel like maybe we can specify a little bit more, just so that there isn't more confusion about what we're trying to use and maybe what we're asking from as a recommendation from the health center.
Dr. Edwards.
Okay, so, excuse me, I agree with you if we can make it clear, but just for like reading, I don't really see, like, because we said in both the therefore be resolved and the therefore be further resolved, that we're talking about Plan B, like, there's no mention of the Ella in either of the therefore be resolved, but it specifically says Plan B emergency contraceptive. Would it be better if we went with Justice Cal, her suggestion to say morning after pill? Would that make it more specific? Because how I read it, it's pretty clear. Like, would you prefer to use morning after? And this goes out to anyone.
President Bidwell.
I would just say wherever it says emergency contraceptive or Plan B, to to say morning after pill. Is that okay with you guys? It's in the introduction to the document at the top, required appointments for, and then, just throughout the document, I would say, and yeah, just because Plan B is a specific brand, like for example, in the legislation for menstrual products, we didn't say like always or like, something like that. So we should say like exactly what the pill is.
I believe if this is a change you're all trying to make, a motion should be made or recommendation, so. Real quick, yes, representative.
So sorry, point of personal privilege, please.
Me too. I'm raising your hand for a while. Well, point of order, y'all. Okay, so, yeah, motion, Senator Eason.
So I think that anywhere that says Plan B or emergency contraceptive, that we change it to the morning after pill.
Is there a second? Senator Hayes? Is there any discussion? Okay, if not, we can move into a vote to change anywhere that says emergency contraceptive or Plan B to say morning after pill. All those in favor? Opposed or abstaining? Great, with that, the motion passes. So we will make that change. Back to the conversation. Yes, President Thorold.
I wanted to ask kind of on what Senator Hayes was touching on. So in terms of COVID, when you get an appointment at the health center, do you need to do like a quick scan online or do you need to get COVID tested on site? Like what is the process in regards to COVID? And then I have a follow-up and then I'll be.
No, you don't need to get a quick scan or like a COVID test to get an appointment. Like, once you like walk in, there's like a table in the front and they just make sure that like, you have like, there's like a specific like link when it connects to your ID to make sure that you're like vaccinated and all that stuff. Cause there's a separate thing if you're not like vaccinated and if you don't have anything. Yeah, the clears tool. Yeah, okay. So just make sure that all of that is clear and that when you're coming in, you actually have an appointment or you have a meeting with the health or counseling center, because it's like for both.
Yeah, and Senator Maddox might be thinking the same thing, but I mean, maybe not sure, but I was just thinking in terms of like saying in the bill after COVID restrictions are lifted, we would like this to be implemented. I think there's a certain urgency to the issue and like clearly, if you're not getting COVID tested, isn't there a way to verify that you're vaccinated without going into the building physically to then come and pick it up later? Like, that's just my only thing. If not, y'all can say, oh, once COVID restrictions are lifted, but I don't know. It seems like it shouldn't be like that. It shouldn't be required for you to go in just for them to like you to show them your phone. Like if you can just screenshot or something.
I just want to remind everyone for time's sake, like we have 3 more bills to review, so just to kind of keep the conversation flowing and going so we can get through the bill. Thank you. Do we have any comments that need to be added, questions that are important? Yes. Assistant Director Brown.
To speak about the whole vaccination thing, I think it should be in your health portal where you shouldn't have to you shouldn't have to come there to prove you're vaccinated. It should be already in your Tiger Health portal. So to speak on like you having to show if you're vaccinated or not to get whatever. I think that might be something.
Thank you for that clarification. Do we have any further questions, comments, or concerns about the bill? Yes, Representative McGuire. Can we get him the mic, please?
I just want to bring this up because I think it is really important. The CVS pharmacy in downtown or uptown Towson is actually permanently closed. And really, there's no pharmacies within like a 20-minute walk. So I definitely believe that's something to consider for the Senate. Because there's really, if you're a freshman on the weekends, I don't know how you're going to be able to do it.
Thank you so much. Chief of Staff Moody.
Hello. Okay. I just have like a quick comment, but I don't know if this was mentioned at first, but like, I just feel like the appointment itself is just not necessary. Like, when you're going through this time, like, some people might have a sense of like embarrassment or like just a lot of like frustration. I just feel like it's easier to just go get what you need and then move on with your day rather than going, seeing a doctor and having them just talk to you about like how what you did was messed up or anything like that. So me personally, I'm in support of the bill.
Thank you for that comment, Director Ramos.
Okay, another comment that I wanted to add, which you just like enlightened me about, was that about like the weekends and like how the pharmacies permanently close. That's the same for the health center. It closes at 5 p.m. on Fridays, which does mean you don't have accessibility like that Friday evening, all Saturday, all of Sunday. So it wouldn't be until Monday, even if the health center is stacked up, you can't get an appointment then either, which I find very iffy, which is why, like I said, I'm support of the bill. I think that should be a thing. And also to add on like the part you mentioned in the bill about the union, I think that's very important. The union is open on the weekends, and that could be a way for people, like, let's say it is a Saturday, you're like, oh my God, the youth store is closed. There's no pharmacy nearby, so it's not permanently closed. They can go to the youth store when it opens right at noon and go be able to pick it up. So that's something we should also consider as well, that there are discrepancies when people don't have access to the emergency contraceptive because of the health center's limited hours.
Thank you, Senator Mackey.
Question.
Point of order, y'all, please. Thank you. Okay, we can move into, somebody needs a second, okay? Senator Washington Merritt. Okay, and move into a vote on resolution number 42. All those in favor, opposed, or abstaining? Great, that the motion passes and resolution number 42 has passed. Are there any motions on the floor? Point of order, please, y'all. Okay, Senator Maddox.
I move that we review resolution 43.
Is there a second? Senator Mackey. Is there any discussion? Okay, if not, we can move into a vote. Comment? Okay.
I sent a presentation that I'd like to give. Did you report it to the So while we're waiting on that.
Yeah, I don't think it'll take that long, so they can vote and then we can wait for it. It's just a presentation you need to, yeah, we'll be fine. Okay, so are there any more comments before we vote to review resolution number 43? No? Okay, we can move into a vote. All those in favor, opposed, or abstaining? Great, that the motion passes and we can review resolution number 43 once the presentation is all set. Senator Maddox.
Point of personal privilege.
You will be abstaining if you miss part of the discussion, just, yeah, just to keep that in mind. Is it an emergency?
It is.
Okay. It's okay. We'll give it a couple more minutes, y'all. Bear with us, bear with us. We're having some technical difficulties, but we'll get it together. Yes, Representative. Yeah. Print up first.
I believe our presentation is up, so we can yield the floor to Director Johnstone.
Good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, so I just wanted to do a quick presentation about the bill, clarifying a few things and addressing other issues so important. If you'll wait to go to the next slide. Awesome. So this is a quote from the Watershed reports on the Chesapeake Bay. So our traditional reliance and growing dependency on pesticides are the root cause of pesticides occurring in our waterways and the bay. Toxic chemicals in pesticides can also move up the food chain very quickly through bigger fish and birds that eat the contaminated organisms, and those get into our food chain, which causes some major issues with us ingesting pesticides. So in 2018, which was the time of the last Chesapeake Bay reports, it got a 46% on its water quality report. Basically, that is a C in accordance to the current grading system, and that is not good at all. So basically, everyone is trying to do the best they can to make sure that the water quality gets better over time. And this is just one way that we can help improve it ourselves, as we do take in our food sources from local places in Maryland, which is great and all, but making sure that they aren't using pesticides is even better. So according to the report, pesticides are a threat to the region's environmental health because they can be toxic to aquatic life, wildlife, and humans, even though these species are not being targeted by the pesticide applier. Even at low levels, toxic effects of pesticides can put additional stress on fish, plants, microscopic animals, and other species. So basically, us moving away from pesticides is of extreme importance. And even a slight use of pesticides, for example, they gave an example of using it on your lawn, can be extremely detrimental in the long run. Next slide. Thank you. So this is just a short graph showing the quality of the bay. Now it is better in the lower bay area, but what most of us know is the upper area, which isn't doing good, to say it shortly. So I guess that kind of just shows the urgency even further through the graph. Alrighty, the effects on students. So pesticides used by farmers, residents, and business owners pose a significant risk to Chesapeake Bay wildlife and human health, which is according to a recent report released by the Maryland Pesticide Network, which is a network full of scientists dedicated to researching and explaining this topic specifically. Toxic chemicals and pesticides move up the food web when larger fish and birds eat contaminated organisms. Humans can also be affected if they catch contaminated fish or drink contaminated water. This is especially an issue in Baltimore, low-income Baltimore places, because they don't have the same access to water filters or water filtration systems that others may have. And the largest source of pesticides comes from agriculture. So that also explains further why this bill was passed, because we get all our pesticides from agriculture, so skewing away from that, it's as good as we can get. But yeah, and that's the end of the presentation.
Hi, yeah, I just had a quick question. So I know that a portion of the resolution, well, actually, there are multiple mentions of non-GMO and GMO products in this resolution, but neither the therefore be it resolved or therefore be it further resolved. They don't include GMO.
Do you want clarification on that? Okay, Director Johnstone.
Yeah, so, sorry. So are you asking about the language, like non-GMO crops versus organic or pesticide-free food?
Yeah.
So essentially they're the same. The sources that we got just state different things. GMOs are pesticides, pesticides are GMOs. So by saying organic food or non-pesticide-free food, they are just saying pesticide-free. But I mean, we can change the language if we would like to non-GMO, if that makes things a bit more clear.
I believe Vice President Ambush wants to clarify some things too.
I had a similar concern as the Chief Justice, because you can have GMO foods that's not pesticides. Pesticides is the chemicals they put on food to prevent pests. You can have genetically modified organisms that actually get rid of pests without the use of pesticides. That's why I was kind of confused, because pesticides is a chemical. If you're doing a GMO, you're changing the genetic data of a plant, which are two different processes. That's why, like, I support the therefore be it resolved, but I think there's a confusion over what is a GMO and what is a pesticide, which I don't think is correct science.
Senator Maddox, did you have something to add? Can we have a mic for Senator Maddox, please?
There, hey Jaden, and Director Johnstone, sorry. My question is just, I know the dining halls, some of them have signs that say like organic, like they have organic products, but they don't really clarify what they are. I'm just wondering if you know any like statistics of like, if the dining halls carry organic things or non-pesticides things, and if you know them off the top of your head, or if they just don't overall.
Yeah, so when I brought up this idea to Chartwell's, they didn't specify how much of the food was pesticide free. I know it's not to the extent that is being requested on the bill. But I hope that answers at least a little bit.
Do we have any further comments, questions, concerns? Senators? I know there was some confusion about GMOs and pesticide kind of wording. So I don't know if you guys would like to, if there's a recommendation on the floor as to how the wording should be amended. But yes, Director Johnstone.
I would like to make a recommendation on the first whereas. Some students strictly eat organic, pesticide-free foods, and to use dining options to not accommodate their dietary needs, just to kind of like help some of that vocab issue. I don't support changing it on other whereases because I believe, if I'm not wrong, those are taken from a source, correct?
So what is the recommendation that you're making?
The recommendation is to change the non-GMO foods in the first whereas to pesticide-free foods.
Does anyone accept that recommendation? Senator Elam? Is there a second? Senator Omasori? Okay, is there any discussion before we vote on this recommendation to change non-GMO foods in the first whereas to pesticide-free foods? Okay, if not, we can move into a vote on this recommendation. All those in favor, opposed, abstaining? Great, that motion passes. And we can continue our discussion on the bill. Yes, Senator Madden.
I just kind of want to hear what everyone thinks about like this. I was kind of thinking about it, but I don't really think that the second, third, or fourth whereas are relevant to the article, not relevant to like the concerning and the therefore be it resolved. They mostly concern GMO-based opinions, and the concerning and therefore be it resolved, both more so are tailored towards organic dining options. You know, I don't really think that the GMOs are relevant to this conversation. I think it's an important topic, but I feel like we'd either have to get rid of them or change the therefore be it resolved to further reflect the GMOs. Yeah, that's my comment.
Chief Justice Attorney Olson.
I completely agree. I feel like we would have to cut those three because they aren't relevant.
Okay. Senator Elam.
I'll say like in the first whereas, well, the second whereas, I'm sorry.
We have a mic.
Oh, I mean, when we were going over,
but when we're going over, basically saying how GMO-based agriculture is associated with destructive practices such as increased pesticides use. So that kind of goes back to pesticides. I mean,
maybe I'm wrong, but that's how I interpret it.
also, yeah, so I would just say that like we do talk about pesticides in the bill. And all the research does go back to like pesticides, like we weren't just like, I guess. Not mix it up. Yeah, we weren't trying to like mix it up or anything, like. Yeah, we have pesticides in here. I don't know, I feel like we shouldn't change it just because off of the research that we got, it wasn't supposed to be. Like, they weren't talking about two different things, they were using it interchangeably.
Thank you, Director Johnstone.
Yeah, so with the first whereas especially, I think we could just cross off the GMO-based agriculture is associated with. And then have whereas destructive practices such as increased pesticide use. And suppressed crop diversity, lost biodiversity, blah, 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 all that. Because it keeps the same points, but doesn't cross off entirely.
Vice President Ambush.
Yes, okay, so doing some research on my end. Technically, if we leave the GMO whereas it's okay because technically while GMOs can be pesticide free, they're technically not considered organic and are therefore resolved to say organic. So you can leave them on. Now, I do have an additional comment as I am anti-pesticides and there are GMOs that make plants like herbicide resistant, which allows more pesticides to be put on it. That's where it comes from. The idea is like you can like change the genetic material of like a tomato to make it more resistant to pesticides, so you can put on more pesticides. But there are other GMOs, for example, that add calcium to like rice, which like helps make rice like more calcium like rich. So personally, I'm actually not in favor of leaving the GMO part on here for that reason. Just GMOs have been used to like help people across the world. But I will say if you leave the GMOs in the bill, it is still consistent with the intro and the therefore be it resolved.
Thank you, Chief Justice Otada Olson.
Yeah, to build on that, I also am kind of confused because the fourth whereas just goes on about diverse diet, limited GMOs are limited or have a limited pool of dietary options. So I don't know how that's relevant to pesticide-free organic foods.
Was that comment?
Yes.
Okay. Justice Denoka, is that a hand?
So I just have a question. It's about the death of Bezos, and I need to understand, are we saying pesticides free and organic foods? Or are we saying pesticides free or organic foods?
Do we have Dr. Johnstone?
It would be and organic foods. We can change that.
So we're gonna make a friendly amendment to just add pesticide-free and organic food in house and dining options. Thank you for Justice. Okay, we can keep the conversation flowing. Do we have any further comments, questions, concerns on this bill? Any motions, recommendations that anyone would like to make before we proceed into a vote on this bill? Vice President Ambush.
Again, as much as I disagree with the GMO part, I do think this bill is important to pass to allow the university to provide more of those organic options, especially as the university is planning into Chartwell's renegotiation and such, or choosing a different vendor. So as the university goes into deciding dining options for the next several years, I think having this bill and asking the university to advocate for, whether it's renegotiation or different negotiation, allowing organic options for students who need it.
Okay, any last minute questions, comments, concerns before we move into a vote on resolution number 43? Okay, if not, we can move into a vote on resolution number 43. All those in favor, opposed, or abstaining? Okay, with that, the motion passes and resolution number 43 has passed. Are there any motions on the floor? Senator Evelyn?
I think that we reduced the bill number 4.
Okay, is there a second? Senator Gwen?
I second.
Okay, is there any discussion?
If not, we can move into a vote to review Senate Bill number 4. All those in favor? Opposed or abstaining? Okay, the motion passes. We're now reviewing Senate Bill number 4. I just see already the amendment that needs to be made. It is friendly. Just change accountability and ethics to bylaws. It should have said bylaws. I don't know what happened, but yeah, because we are reviewing the bylaws. And I believe I shared a presentation. And Article 2, Section 5, subsection C, where it talks about the Senate leadership, precisely the government operations chair. I believe this might need a little bit of clarification, but we wanted to strike the line that said where the government operations chairs general assemblies when Senate rules are suspended. That was kind of like confusing because we usually break Senate rules to review a bill. And I guess, business continues to be conducted as usual, but that specific line said the government operations chair chairs general assemblies when Senate rules are suspended. So I don't know if any one of the executive members here can clarify this for us before we keep going, but if not, this was the recommendation of the committee to just strike that line to just, not bring more confusion to, I guess, how business is conducted. But President DeVoe, is that it? Yeah, so you just want to clarify what it means exactly?
Should they still be there?
It should be. So really what?
Help us understand.
Yeah. So when Senate rules are suspended, it's because it did not go through Government Operations Committee. So the Senate essentially turns into Government Operations Committee during GA to cover anything in the I guess before the real discussion of the bill commences. So the Government Operations Chair has historically taken that on. It doesn't always happen, but yeah. They take over chairing and then they'll go through, make sure there are no friendly amendments or grammatical errors, just because it didn't get a chance to go through committee. During GA, yeah. So we haven't conducted business this way this year, I believe. Okay, so, Vice President Ambush.
Yeah, I actually think I might be in favor of changing it because that's not how we conducted business. I know that's how it was pre-COVID, but I think for the sake of just keeping GAs going smoothly, I think it's okay if the pro temp is chairing during GAs when we suspend Senate rules.
Yes, President DeVoe. I would agree with that just because the discussion is still going to, you still make friendly amendments during discussion anyway. So I'm open to it, but I also don't think that we should change stuff just because we didn't do it necessarily, just because we didn't adhere to it. Yeah, so up to you. And that's why I actually let you guys speak on that before we made any last decisions on it. Yeah, so, and what happens is the government operation chair chairs when the pro temp is absent. So that's why y'all probably saw this chair when I wasn't here, but that does happen, but we usually break Senate rules and business goes, continues to be, so, yeah, so that is there. Well, if there's no amendments, we just continue. Okay, so there's no further questions, comments, concerns. Next slide, please. Thank you. Okay, in Article 3, Section 1, subsection B, structure of the executive cabinet. And this also, you guys can let me know if this is something you would like to keep or not. But I believe we do not have a deputy chief of staff, so it was just kind of for it being there was kind of it's not really needed. But if you guys believe that it should stay there, and you guys believe that for administrations in the future are going to hire or have a deputy chief of staff, then we can keep it. But the recommendation from the committee was that we should strike it. And also we strike the solicitor general from the executive cabinet because it's being moved from that to the judicial branch. So again, this is open to discussion. President DeVoe.
You want to go first? Yeah, go ahead.
Vice President Ambush.
technically in the Constitution that was passed by the student body, the director of special projects under their line in the Constitution now says deputy chief of staff. So it's kind of redundant. Yeah.
Yeah, so do you have? Yeah. So okay, so this section is executive cabinet, and then there's executive council. So is special projects listed under the council? Okay, yeah, okay, that makes sense. Okay, do we have any further questions, comments, concerns? Oh, and also we added director of post-secondary education because that wasn't part of the cabinet before. President Devoe. I don't know if this was brought up, because I know I threw out the name to change higher education. I believe, so what I had suggested was director of post-secondary transition. Just want to clarify that because post-secondary education is the same as higher education. Dang. So maybe next year's rules committee can fix that. But our understanding was that it was supposed to be changed to post-secondary education. So that is the change. That's okay. But if there's no further discussion on this, we can keep going to the next. Oh, sorry, Director Johnston. Granted. Okay, Article 3, Section 1, subsection C, where it talks about the executive council, just to strike director of campus activities and also add our disability representatives to just reflect the previous changes that we made in the Constitution and so on. As CAB is no longer part of our executive council. Continue. Okay, Article 3, Section 3, subsection H, where it talks about the executive cabinet duties and responsibilities. Again, just change director of higher education to post-secondary education. Subsection J, strike solicitor general section, as it will be moved to the judicial branch. Okay, this one was a little confusing because the document, like that part of the document was kind of in shambles a little bit, so bear with me. The subsection was supposed to be subsection F, but it was a subsection D, which was twice, so I had to change it to F. So the original is subsection F, but that specific subsection is being struck because that it was usually cabs stuff. So we don't have that anymore. So we're striking that and we're adding a new subsection at the end of everything. That's gonna have the disability representative duties and responsibilities there. So just fixing the order and yeah. Article 4, Section 1, the judicial board structure. We're just adding the solicitor general, as we said, because it is now part of the J board. And Section 2, we're adding a new subsection, which will have the duties and responsibilities of the solicitor general. Is that it? Okay, so that is all the changes that are being made to the bylaws. Do we have any questions, comments, concerns before we vote on Senate Bill number 4? Okay, seeing that there's none, we can move into a vote on Senate Bill number 4. All those in favor, opposed, or abstaining? Great, that the motion passes and Senate Bill number 4 has passed. And that concludes our document. For the rules committee, for the rules committee. So we have one more bill to review. Are there any motions on the floor? Yes, Senator 1.
I move to review Senate Bill number 5.
We're supposed to be finance bill, but it's okay.
Finance.
Right? Senate bill? Oh, okay, never mind. It's still supposed to be a Senate bill. Okay. Change. Oh, okay, no problem. Okay, so we can continue. Is there a second? Senator Maddox?
A second.
Is there any discussion? Director Clark, did you have?
Point of personal.
Granted.
Okay, do we have any discussion on this motion? Okay, if not, we can move it to a vote to review Senate Bill number 5. All those in favor, opposed, or abstaining? Great, we can review Senate Bill number 5. I believe Treasurer Booker does, so he will be taking over.
Okay, I'll go over the changes that the Appropriations Committee deemed favorable to the SGA financial policy. So Article 5, Section 1, subsection A, and subsection A. We're just changing the supplemental request process. A supplemental request is basically an extension of your budget. Package 2 organizations don't have a budget, but yet they could apply for a supplemental request. So to fix that, we're going to remove their ability to apply for a supplemental request, but another change does give them still a way to receive funding, just not through a supplemental. So we're only limiting the supplemental request to 3 and 4 organizations to follow the structure of our other, I guess the other wording in the financial policy.
What is the other request that they can? Okay.
Okay, so with this and also something to help out the minor requests, package 1 organizations, thank you to the judicial board and specifically Chief Justice Olson with their workaround creating this. Basically would allow package 1 organizations who currently cannot seek any SGA funding to seek $75 per semester should they choose for minor requests for events or supplies. They would not be able to apply for a budget as other organizations do, but it's similar to a supplemental where throughout the semester they can use it if they choose only once per semester per organization, up to $75, and it will be approved at the discretion of the treasurer. Yeah, like I said, the purpose is to support package 1 and 2 orgs. And package 2 specifically should not have the ability to get a supplemental request because a supplemental is an extension of a budget that they, by our policy, do not have access to. Anyone have any questions? Oh, no question on that. All right. So the next change, basically student orgs are offered $125 per semester. Our language currently says $250, and it's been really confusing, even with myself in determining how to differentiate that. It is $125 per semester for a total of $250 for a year. So we're just making that noted, and that is the final change. Are there any questions? Or I guess I'll yield.
Hey, do we have any questions, comments, concerns on these changes before we go on President DeVoe?
I was just gonna say, I think that's a really great idea, and shout out to whoever came up with the minor request form. That's really cool. Congratulations.
Turn over the floor again. Okay. If there's no more comments, we can move into a vote on our final bill, Senate Bill number 5. All those in favor? Opposed? Or abstaining? Okay, with that, the motion passes. And our bill has passed. Congratulations, y'all. Okay, are there any announcements? Yes. Chief of Staff Moody.
Hey everyone, sorry I was late. I was dealing with something, but I just want to remind you all, even though this is the last GA, we do have inauguration at next Tuesday at 5 in the same exact room. So it's like coming to GA. It's not required, but we'll have food and stuff if y'all want to come and see the transition from 101 to 102. Also, if the J board, if y'all can stay after for like 5 seconds so I can redo y'all recordings. And that's it. Is it a question for me?
Senator Omasori.
All right, hope y'all having a great day. I'm not trying to get emotional here. All right, I'm gonna make this quick and short. First of all, I want to thank you guys, for welcoming me in, accepting me with open arms. Last semester, I was a senator, and now, upcoming administration, I'll be your attorney general. So I want to thank you guys for believing in me. I also want to thank.
Oh,
I also want to thank Olivia. He's not here though, but you always gave me advice, favor to criticize me. I just really had high expectations, and I'm excited to take on the task, and I'm looking forward to it. Thank you. And
Chief Justice Untitled Olson.
Hey everyone, so I just wanted to announce that right after this, the J Board has, well, a treat for the J Board, but now it's a treat for everyone. So if anyone wants cake, it's on President DeVoe's desk right after this GA. Yeah.
Last kind of order, we still in business, y'all. Thank you. Okay, Treasurer Colquitt.
All right, again, I didn't get mushy during my communications, but I really be remiss to not thank our amazing executive board this year. We will have banquet, hopefully we'll see you all there. And hopefully for our returning, for our non-graduating members, we do see your application. Would love to work with all of you next year. But President DeVoe, under your leadership, I've been able to learn and grow so much about this organization, university. Zakia and our entire executive board, just thank y'all for working so hard. And to the entire administration, the Senate, the J Board, the cabinet, it's been a pleasure working with all of you. And I'm excited to see what we do in the next year. I also know we didn't do our graduate shout outs, but I also see former pro tem in the house. So congratulations to you. And everyone's graduating. I'll see you all at banquet. I'm excited to get to work. With that, I guess I do.
Okay, do we have any last announcements? Go on. Okay. See that there's none, we can, anybody have a motion? And a plan?
I move that we adjourn.
Is there a second, Senator England?
Ooh, I second.
Is there any discussion? Okay. We can now move into a vote. All those in favor? Opposed? Or abstaining? Motion passes. Adjourned, y'all.
Yes, oh yeah, I was stupid on y'all. Yes, I was there. You know what?
I've done everything I can do. I don't want to hear that. I don't care. I don't care.
What is your PDP?
Whatever
Are
you
you gonna
want
buy me
to
my
do.
smoothie? You owe me a smoothie.
I'll miss hearing your voice.
You do.
Directly.
The Senate